Hi y'all, Twisted Cooking Lady here, also known as Twisted Art Lady, and my name is Samantha. So, I used to work at a restaurant chain that is well known as TGI Fridays, and they have a whiskey glaze. So, I became completely obsessed with this glaze while I worked there and decided that I better develop my own recipe for the glaze. So I did that. It took me some trial and error, but I got there, and this recipe is incredible. You will not regret it if you go and buy the shopping list for this one because it is a little bit of a list. But it's worth it, you guys, because you can make it and store it in the freezer, and then you just have it on hand for a while. So let's stop wasting any time, go on inside, and make this whiskey glaze. Well, hello, you guys, from my kitchen. So, the first step with this whiskey glaze is going to be that you need to cut the tips off of garlic. You're going to need 3 full bulbs of garlic. Cut the tips off. Make a little foil pouch out of foil. And then you're going to drizzle with olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper. And you're going to put these in a 315 degree preheated oven for about 15-20 minutes. I'd say 20. And the garlic gets extremely beautiful, and you can push it out, and it's like basically a paste. And the taste is absolutely wonderful. So you need to get that done first before we can move on to the next part. The next part would be 3 or 4 tablespoons of olive oil down in a decent size pot. And to that, we're going to add, excuse my fingers, I have garlic. You're going to add about 1 cup of minced or very finely chopped onion. We're going to go on ahead and do that. Everybody in the pool. So now we're going to saute these onions until they're nice and translucent, and then we can move on to the next step. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and I'll be right back in a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, when this is ready to move on to the next step. Okay, the onions have simmered, and I actually had to turn the fire off in that and let it sit for a little while after they became translucent. As you can see right through them like a window. All right. So the next thing that we need to do is start adding everything else in here. So for that, I'm going to start with, I got an 8-ounce can of, it was supposed to be crushed pineapple, but it was actually pineapple chunks is what I had on hand. So I didn't run to the store. I just kind of minced the pineapple up into little bits here, and it'll be just fine. I'm actually going to blend this up just a little bit with my immersible blender a part of the way through the cooking process, and that is because I just want less chunkiness anyways. So that's what we're gonna do. You don't have to do that. You can leave it chunky. It's not really that big of a deal. My sons actually just prefer a smoother kind of sauce. The next thing that we need to do is start adding our roasted garlic, which is nice and cool now. And like I said, after you roast garlic, it becomes kind of paste-like, and you can easily squeeze it right out. Put it straight on in there. It is important that it be roasted. The flavor, it does change the flavor. So this is, I don't know if you guys have ever been to TGI Fridays. It's a restaurant. They seem to be closing. in a lot of places, but some of y'all might have a TGI Fridays near you still. Well, I don't know if you've ever been there or not, but they have a whiskey, a Jack Daniel's whiskey glaze sauce, and I absolutely love that sauce so much that I had to go on ahead and start figuring out how to cook it, how to make it myself. Let me get some of this goodness off my fingers while I'm talking. I had to figure out how to make it myself because I absolutely love it. And so I went and found some Copycat recipes and made this a few times through trial and error. Came up with my own version of those recipes, and that's what I'm sharing with you today. So let me wash my hands and take care of this trash that I have here, and I will be right back to do the rest of it. Alright, my hands are nice and clean, and we're going to go on with the rest of this. So, the first thing I'm going to add is 4 cups of brown sugar. I heard me say it, but you have to trust me. This is a sweet and spicy glaze that is absolutely wonderful. The sweetness is in there. This is wonderful on any kind of meat. It's also pretty wonderful on some veggies too. Like you could do, you could roast some potatoes and broccoli. Maybe even some carrots would be delicious too. There's a chunk in there. You could roast them in the oven with very little to no seasoning. And when they're about 5 minutes from being finished, you can add a good drizzle of this glaze. Now I call this a bourbon glaze. I like using bourbon, but you can add a good drizzle of this glaze to your roasted potatoes and roasted vegetables, whatever it is, and give them a really good toss and put them back in for an extra 5 minutes, and it will glaze onto your vegetables so perfectly. It is amazing. Now this is a hot honey. My family loves spicy food, so that will be just fine. I will do a few less shakes of the other spice that I was going to put in. Just a little more squirt of that. We're going to add water. This is 2 cups of water. Next, we're going to add about 3 cups of pineapple juice. And then we have soy sauce. We need about a 1/3 cup of soy sauce. Lemon juice, about a 1/2 cup. A 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. This is what I happen to have on hand right now. I actually love this brand. They're good quality. So I'm just going to give it a few shakes. Now, optionally, if you don't love too much spice, you don't have to do the next step. I'm going to add just a little bit more. But we do. So I am, the optional ingredient is crushed red pepper. I have this brand. This is the large bottle because we use these a lot. So I'm just going to give a few shakes of it to intensify the heat. But once again, you can customize this as far as the cayenne and the red pepper goes. You can leave some of it out, leave all of it out. I highly suggest you don't leave all of it out. Use a little bit. Sweet and spicy goes very well together. Even if you don't like spice a lot, it goes very well. You have to trust me. Put some in there. At least a little bit of the crushed red pepper. It smells so amazing. So amazing. Alright, we got everything in there. Yes. So the next thing I'm going to do is put this on the heat and watch for it to come to a boil. You can see there's a lot of chunks in here. We are going to blend this down like I said. All right, we are at the stove and I am holding my phone so you can have a better view, because I usually put my phone stand like over here on the counter and it's blocked by the microwave. So you don't really get a very good view. I'm gonna have to get me a burner to use on my island to make this a little better. All right, so I have my immersible blender. This is the one that I have. I believe that I got this one at Bed Bath & Beyond. I might have ordered it on Amazon. I don't know. I have two, so I got one of them at one place and one at the other place. Anyways, we're going to go on ahead and turn this on. I'm going to mute the video just for a moment and speed it up while I'm blending, and we'll be right back with sound. So this is blended up. I'm going to let this go ahead and come to a boil. We'll be back in a few when it's there, and I will continue to hold my phone for the next couple of segments of this, and we'll be back at the tripod soon, but not yet. We have a little bit more to do. This is going to get much darker, so I'm going to bring this to a boil, and that's when I will bring you back. So here you can see that the mixture has come to a boil, so we're going to drop the heat to medium and simmer. I suggest a higher medium, like a 6 to 7 setting, and this is going to simmer for 40 to 50 minutes or until it becomes a syrupy consistency. Alright, you guys, this has been cooking for a long time, and it has finally reduced and is becoming a syrupy consistency. Look at it just bubble away. Look at that. The last ingredient that we need to add right now is my bourbon. Let me actually turn this heat off for a moment. I'm going to add this bourbon, stir it in good, and then adding it slowly because it is a water going into a very hot solution. As you can see, when you start adding the bourbon or whiskey in that is cold to a very hot syrupy mixture, it bubbles up quite a bit, and this is why you need to turn the heat off before you do that, and why you need such a large pot for making this. Yum. Okay, I'm going to call this done. And I'm about to cook a chicken breast and glaze my chicken with this amazingly beautiful sauce. And I will come back and show you what this looks like glazed on a beautiful piece of chicken breast. We will be right back. There you have it, a sweet and spicy bourbon glaze copycat recipe for the TGI Fridays whiskey glaze. So I hope you give it a try. Why don't you leave me a comment down below and let me know what you want to smother with this glaze. You guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.